You're on.
Alright, so this is a tutorial in how to adjust the position and scale of video clips in order to achieve the Foursquare effect that we were trying to achieve the other day. The main thing that I did is I started off using my own visual ability to see what was similar about these videos to make sure they were around the same size.
Okay, I'm going to start you back at the beginning because
Do
I
it.
want to know how to set up your workflow. So was this closed and what was not there so we can go back to what it looked like?
So originally it was on the first tab, which
This
is
one?
source sequence.
It was there.
Okay.
He
So-
wasn't there though. How do I get rid of him?
I don't remember who was there, to be honest. It might have been another one of those.
Okay. Okay, I know I had the files showing here, but he just wasn't here.
So it might have been, was it Sean Wilhite then?
No, it wasn't on any of them.
Oh, it wasn't on any of them? Oh, okay.
It wasn't on any of them.
When it, okay, so if you don't click on a clip, then it'll just be blank and open on that one. It doesn't necessarily, it'll open up in this current format.
It'll just open. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Okay, so then we went to effect controls.
We did indeed. Yes.
And we were playing with motion.
So motion works in two different ways. You can either use it to click and drag and manipulate the actual video box itself over on the right hand side in your active sequence area.
Okay, so here's my Why Study Theology,
So let's
which
click on
is this guy.
Yep. So let's click on that just as an example.
Okay,
And
I
then-
clicked on him, but he's not. I can't do anything with him.
And now let's give you your anchor points to mess around with. Go ahead and click on the word motion.
on the word motion.
And now you'll notice
now
that
I
the
have
corners
anchor
appear.
points. Okay.
Now this allows you to both drag it in position on the screen as well as in size and scale and the rest of that.
Okay.
So something you should know about scale is that right now we have it check marked over on the left hand side for uniform scale. That means that any time that you change one of those anchors, the opposite anchor will also increase to account for that.
The plumber guy's here for the leak. Can you point it out to him? I don't.
Sure. I'm
we will
so
pause
sorry.
our video. So we left off at uniform scale.
Yeah. So if you were to uncheck that, you'll notice that another option comes up. So it gives you scale height and scale width. You'll notice they're also not the same anymore, which makes it scary. We don't like that. You'll notice the reason why. Over on scale height, it's at 47. Over on scale width, it's at 100. So they're not equal to each other. Now, it always bases it off of that first marker. So when we return, it's going to
what's the
automatically
first marker?
scale height.
It's off. Okay,
Yep,
so
it's
it's
off
based
the-
off of scale height
So if you turn on uniform scale, it will adjust.
to the height.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is correct. So that's one way to manipulate it. And if you were to come over here and drag out any of those corners, you'll notice that it's going to adjust both, or actually adjust all 4 points at the same time to make sure that you're doing it equally.
All right. We will undo that.
All right.
So how'd you get those nice little spaces in them?
So, indeed. So what I did is I used this first method to get them around the same size. And then, once I had them around the same size and in the position I wanted them in.
So each one of them is not the same. So like he's at 47.
So you're right. So I didn't start off with them all the same, but then once I had them in the position and a guess as to where I wanted them, then I made them all exactly the same using these fine-tuned controls over here.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, sometimes mouse clicks are not good enough to get that point-by-point accuracy.
That's right.
So once I had them around the same, I saw which size worked best for me by playing around with that first scale number, that 47. That's what it's at now. And I started at 50, brought it down to 48. I saw that I didn't like the gaps. They weren't big enough. They were too small. So I then brought it down another step to 47. I liked it. It was off still. They weren't in the right position, but they were around there.
Okay.
So, and then how do we get them in the right position? Because I just placed them manually using the mouse, right? And they were overlapping a little bit. That is where these two controls under position come into play.
Ooh, is one of them X and Y like in Final Cut?
That is correct.
Yay.
Yep, exactly the same
Okay.
concept.
Okay.
So you can adjust these in again, you have three ways. You can drag the video around over on the right hand side in the sequence editor. If you wanted to, you can just click in the center and actually move it,
Oh. Okay.
like you can, in Final Cut for that purpose.
I'm gonna undo that.
Or you can come over to those fine
arrows, right?
Yep, and you can use the
Okay.
arrows by clicking and holding and dragging to the left or to the right to adjust.
Ah, there we go. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to figure out. Okay,
And-
so click and hold, drag.
Mhm. Which is good, again, for getting, it's a little bit more fine-tuned without having to play with the numbers.
Right.
Now, it's the same left to right for the up and down, except for that it goes up and down instead of left to right. So it's just a matter of getting used to that aspect of it. Once you have them really pretty close, what I did is I determined what I wanted my border to be. I decided that I wanted a bigger border on the inside than on the outside. And since we're working with 1080 video, you'll notice that they are longer than they are tall. So we have,
Oh, that's why.
yeah, that's why the aspect ratio isn't quite working out for us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I chose to have more space on the sides
Mhm.
than on the
Mhm.
top
And the
visually because we're not going to notice that as much.
bottom. Okay.
So once I had that, I made sure that this number, the first position number, for example, we were working with What is Theology. Okay,
Oh.
I made sure that that first number, which is the left and right,
Mm-hmm.
matched up with the first number of God is Active in History.
God is active. In...
Or church history,
church
sorry.
history. Here we
So
go.
if you look at that, the numbers should be exactly the same.
They are the same. Mm-hmm.
And the reasoning why is because then I know that it's drawing that very clear line there.
On the left of those two.
Yeah,
the right.
that is
on the
correct.
right,
It's
okay.
making sure that they're aligned on the left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I did is, well, technically, I should be clear. Do you see the crosshairs in the middle of God is Active in History?
Yes.
That's actually the position. So
Okay.
this matches up with that there.
Okay. Oh yeah. There we go.
So,
Cool.
yeah. So that's actually where that line is drawn. But if they're the same size video in scale,
Mhm.
then those will be the same when you have them in the same position.
Okay.
It's kind of how.
Okay.
And then for this guy, I wanted to make sure.
Which one? Oh, you got him.
Yep. I wanted to make sure that his second number, that 811.2.2 over in the motion,
Mm-hmm.
was equal to his 811.2. So that
Okay.
in terms of height,
Okay.
they were the same.
Okay.
And then I did the same thing for the top two. And that way I made sure that they were drawn out in the perfect form that I had. So,
Okay. He's not the same. He's not 811.
and the reason why is if you click on this one. Oh, sorry. If you click, so that one is the height, right? So in terms of height, so 272.6. Oh, because we moved him. That was my bad.
There we go. 72.6. Okay.
So these two are
Okay.
going to match in height. The bottom two are going to match in height.
Mm-hmm.
The left two are going to match in left and right position.
Uh-huh.
The right two are going to match in left right position in
Okay.
order to make it that perfect square.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. And I shall pause.